think in talking about this, Mallory, because you and I have been talking about this for the last couple of days, maybe the best place to start is talking about public policy, like why we have premises liability law, what's the purpose of it, and kind of what are we trying to do with the law.
Yeah, I think that's important, particularly to understand some of the standards that have been established. Particularly when we talk about notice in a little bit, it'll be important to think about why these things exist. And we were talking about how it's sort of there's this fairness test that's happening in the background of all of this, that courts are looking at what feels fair in a given situation, depending on, who's in the best position to ensure the safety of the people who are using whatever property, particularly for premises cases. That's really important.
Yeah, and like I remember when Angel and I first started practicing law, when we would look at a case, whether or not it's a case we wanted to take it, the first thing we did was kind of the fairness test. Is this something that we feel like the injured person was wronged in some way, or that the landowner or the business owner, they should have or they could have done something that would have prevented this injury from happening? So that's kind of the first place we look, even before we look at the law.
Yeah, which I think is important for the intake people watching this, especially because you won't know every little aspect of the law that we might be able to use to hold someone accountable. But if you have a feeling, that something about this wasn't right, then it's worth checking in and seeing if this might be a good case and doing some investigating.
Yeah, and I think that the law really tries to codify fairness. So it does the same thing that we're kind of doing is we're like, hey, this doesn't feel right for some reason, or this person should have done more to protect or to keep the people coming onto the property more safe, and they didn't do it. So we're going to make a rule that kind of encapsulates all those situations where they could have done more, they should have done more.
Right. And when you think about like a dangerous condition that hurts somebody, we want somebody to be held responsible for that, right? We want somebody to be responsible for keeping people safe. And so the law tries to think about who's in that good position to maintain the safety for people. Like who do we want to make responsible for this condition being maintained?
Yeah, absolutely. And, I mean, the big thing is safety here because um, just generally we want whatever we're out doing, whether we're shopping or we're in a business place for whatever reason, or even at a friend's house. I mean, safety is one of those things that's very important for society. And because we know the public policy is, let's try to make all these public areas as safe as possible. And then the next question is, who's responsible for making it safe, or who's in the best position? And in the law, what we've kind of come down determined is that the person who actually lives in the premises or owns the premises or maintains the premises, it's their responsibility to make it safe because nobody else knows that property as well as they do. Nobody else has the experience. Like, for example, if you're running a business, like Walmart, and you've been running that business for a year and thousands of people come in and out of the business, you're making a bunch of money off of running that business. Well, you also get to see, God, you know what? 20 people have slipped and fell at the produce department. I mean, at some point, you would know that that's a dangerous place.
Right.
And you should know that it's dangerous because 10, 20 people fell there in the last year and hurt themselves.
Right.
So in the law, what we're doing is saying, well, since you know that, you need to make it safe. It's your responsibility. And if you don't make it safe, then you're liable for the injuries that it creates.
Right.